What's up everyone, Curtis here from Everything Entrepreneurial. In this episode I'm speaking with Noel Tate from GetHouseSurvey. That and more coming right up. Real people, real stories, real conversations. This is Everything Entrepreneurial, a podcast dedicated to entrepreneurship. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this is a place for you to learn from the experts, hear inspiring stories and gain valuable insights to help you on your business go to the next level. Noel, thanks very much for coming on Everything Entrepreneurial. Would you like to introduce yourself and your business?
Yeah, thanks very much for having me on, Curtis. So my name's Noel Tate. I am a business owner now as of the last 5 months, I suppose. And I run a company called GetHouseSurvey. And GetHouseSurvey helps people find a surveyor to conduct a pre-purchase survey. So when you're closing on a second-hand property, you need a surveyor to make sure it's not going to fall down. They come to us and we hook them up with the best surveyors in the country.
Very good. And what does that look like from their point of view? They get the surveyor and then...
Yeah, so what we tried to do was make it as seamless as possible for the house buyers. So we actually started it when we realized, okay, everything about the house buy process is a pain and stressful and confusing. So we said, all right, could we build this process for just one part of it, getting a surveyor and make it as seamless as possible? So the customer comes onto the website. Everything they need to know is right there in front of them. We do things like upfront pricing, which means that they don't need to go looking for prices or asking for quotes or filling out really long forms. And so if they want to go ahead with it, they can book usually within an hour. We have a surveyor, very good, assigned to them. They get the contact information for the surveyor, and the surveyor takes over from there, contacts the estate agent, gets a time and date booked in. And we've built a process that keeps them updated at every single little step. So they always kind of know what's happening with their survey and they don't need to go chasing updates themselves. We keep them in the loop and make sure that they know exactly what's happening. If we need anything from them, we give them plenty of notice. We explain it in detail. And the whole idea is we take all the complexity out before them and hopefully take a bit of stress off their shoulders and take it onto us instead.
That's fantastic. Where did you just come up with this idea?
So, well, myself and my business partner, Eoin, who founded the company, we had both recently gone through the house buying process. Yeah. And we found, like every single person in Ireland, I think we found it incredibly stressful. But the one part for us that was actually seamless was the surveyor, because it just so happens Eoin's dad has been surveying for, I hope he never watches this, but about 30 years. So he's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. And for us, getting the surveyor was seamless. And afterwards, we spoke to other people and they were like, oh my God, it was a nightmare trying to find a surveyor. The surveyor we did find, the bank didn't accept his qualifications, or he missed a few things, whatever. It was a nightmare trying to chase him down. It took 3 weeks to get the report. And we realized, okay, we had a really smooth experience here. All these people had a nightmare. And we both come from a software development background. We've both been in product management for over a decade each. And so we thought, okay, maybe we could build something here. And we used Paul, Eoin's dad, who surveyed both our houses, as our kind of expert in the surveying space. And we built the website and the process and all the tools behind the scenes to build a process out for the customers. And being from product management, we were able to speak to and interview, before we launched, it was dozens of customers to really get inside their head and understand what was important to them. And we kind of launched it from there. It was kind of a cobbled together thing at first, and then we slowly built on and got better and better.
That's brilliant. What was the biggest obstacle from starting off, I suppose? What was the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome initially?
Yeah, so I think for us, the biggest hurdle was we were trying to do this part-time while we both had full-time jobs.
Right.
And so for us, trying to find a time during the day to talk to people, because you don't want to be interviewing customers and doing research in the evening with them. So trying to find the time during the day. So there's a lot of frantic lunch breaks trying to reach out to people. There's a lot of work on the weekend, some evening work then to kind of follow up and catch up on that. So for us, it was trying to find a time to do that was the more difficult part. Then once we got into it and, we had Paul, he was kind of our expert in surveying at the start. And once we started then trying to figure out, okay, we need to create content, but I can write the content as a surveyor because I'm not a surveyor. We find the best surveyors, but I'm not a surveyor myself. So we had to find a way to write the content and build that information for customers in a way that we could verify it with surveyors, make sure, okay, this is all right, we're not steering anybody wrong, and then kind of incorporate that with our with the process we built out and this website we built out. So trying to kind of find a time at the start and then merge together, okay, the experts, the expert opinion and advice, and then merge that with what we were able to build. Getting that right balance was tough at the start. That took us, I'd say, a good maybe 6 months to get into it. So once we got over that hurdle, there's lots more hurdles, but that was the biggest one at the start.
So content first approach for your business. A lot of business owners don't do that, but why did you lean into that?
So the building surveying space in Ireland is it's quite diverse. There's a couple of big companies, and then there's lots of smaller independent companies. The smaller independent companies pick up business through word of mouth and referrals through friends. So it was hard to kind of compete with them. For the bigger companies, they had the market share just for the fact they've been around a long time. So I thought, okay, if we're going to try to compete with these online, we're going to try to outrank them for as many keywords and terms as we could. We're going to have to really double down on the content and put out some good quality content that answers people's questions, adds value to them, and try to, I don't know how successful we were at this is, that's an objective opinion. People can make up their own mind, but try to make it less boring as well.
Right.
Because, you have an engineer or a building surveyor coming out to a house. It's not that exciting. So we tried to put kind of a more positive vibe on it and try to explain it in a more kind of positive way rather than, they're just trying to find issues in the house. We've tried to communicate all the value they bring. So
very good.
That's why we went content heavy at the start. And we've tried to keep that up now. 4 years into it, we've tried to keep going that way.
And what's the roadmap for Get House Survey 2023? Like, do you have any aspirations or goals that you'd like to hit?
Yeah. So as of 5 months ago, as I mentioned, we both started off part-time. Yeah. As of 5 months ago, I'm now in the business full-time. Mm-hmm. So we've got it to the stage where I've been able to give up full-time work and go into my own full-time work. So this year, it means that we've got more flexibility, more time and more resources to pump into the company. So we've got to the stage where we have a panel of around 15 surveyors. We've vetted them all throughout the years, ensure we're working with the best surveyors, and the quality of surveys we have going out is really high standard.
Yeah.
But a lot of the big companies, they all put out high standard surveys. So one of the goals for this year is to really double down, and I suppose more than think of it as as the product being just a survey, we're trying to think of it as the entire experience for the customer. So not just a survey, we're going to try to improve the quality of the surveys as well. We're also going to try to improve the experience beforehand, the follow-up afterwards. And we want to get to a stage when customers come to us and they've gone through the experience with us and they've got a survey from us, and the surveyor's been able to help with any follow-up questions and help their solicitor figure out a few things, that they voluntarily go and talk about how great the product was. And we want to, even though the other companies do a great job, a lot of them, we want to really leave them in the dust. So the first part is doubling down on the quality of the surveys. The second part is we're going through a bit of a business transformation this year. So the first 4 years, we have a panel of surveyors.
Yeah.
They're not directly employed by us. We vet their work and the whole lot and make sure they're qualified and carry insurance, but they're not directly employed by us. So this year we want to bring in we're aiming for 2 or 3 surveyors in-house. And
fantastic.
What that does is it gives us a little bit more flexibility because we're not subcontracting the work. Essentially, it means we've got a little bit more flexibility to keep more of the money per survey, which means we can pump that back into the business. And it means we have a bit more control over the process as well. And today, if we were to say increase the number of surveys next month by 50%, that'll put us under a bit of pressure because we have to find the surveyors to do these. But if we have them in-house, it gives us a little bit more flexibility and we can be a bit more thoughtful with the work we're signing out and so on. So it's really to bring surveyors in-house, get a bit more control and really double down on the quality of the surveys we offer. And the goal there really is to give customers, house buyers, a great experience. We think, I mentioned earlier on, house buying is stressful. The amount of people it's brought to tears, and we want to offer them a really good, positive experience that gives them the confidence to go on and buy the property and know that it's a good investment for them. Or if there's an issue with a property, which about 10 to 15% of surveys shows a serious issue, that would make you at least reconsider purchasing the property.
Yeah.
You might have to say, okay, if we do buy this property, it's going to need 20,000 worth of work invested into it. And you might go ahead with it still if everything else checks all the boxes, or you might say, that's not for me. So either to press on with confidence, knowing that's the right property for them, or to get the full picture and know, okay, we really need to talk about, do we want to press on with this purchase?
Very good. And when you're taking some of that work in-house now, that's going to have a lot more kind of challenges for you. How are you going to overcome those challenges? How do you typically overcome challenges? Like, there's obviously, we have our strengths and weaknesses, but having extra staff and there's going to be a lot of problems.
So I'm kind of lucky in that I've managed people. I'm closing in on 40 now. I won't say my exact age, closing in on 40, and I've managed people in various capacities since I was about 19.
Great.
So I've lots of experience managing people. I've no experience managing building surveyors directly. So for me, my biggest challenge is going to be getting really good quality people in-house. And we've spoken to a few great guys already. We're getting really good quality guys in-house. And I'm being really upfront and honest with them and saying, look, from the business side, that's what I can do. That's what I can help grow. From the surveying side, you're the one that needs to take the lead on this. You're the one who needs to, advise us on how we can improve things. And so I'm looking for people with that kind of drive to help improve the product and not just get out and check the boxes, but actually to drive and deliver an excellent product. And then I've had discussions with them as well about how the management work. And I can't coach them on being a better surveyor, but one of the things I can coach them on is, the overall side of operating within a business and growing their career. And, if it's a case where to take the next step, they need to go and do a course. As their manager, I can double down and do the research for them, say, hey, this is the course, we'll fund it for you, and help them develop their career that way. So that's kind of the biggest challenge I see, in that I'm not managing them in something that I'm qualified to do. But things going well, we'll have a surveying manager who is a surveyor, hopefully within a year or so, and then they can take over the reins there. But I'll need to make sure that we set up a really good work environment for them for the first year. And that's, as I said, that's something I have lots of experience in doing. So I'm excited about it, but it's still a big challenge for us.
Fantastic. I'm wondering now, why did you want to become an entrepreneur? Did you always have something in your head, like, I'd like to have my own product or whatever it is, business?
Yeah. So I started my career in Paddy Power when I was 18 and ended up working there full time. And I went through customer support, moved from there into product management, working on their mobile apps just as the iPhone was launched, which is pretty exciting. And from there, I moved on to work for daft.ie and then a few US tech companies. And throughout all that time, I learned a huge amount about growing technologies, about growing businesses, about product management. Is kind of for people who don't know, it's kind of the centerpiece in the company, where you have to deal with the engineering teams, you have to deal with customers, and you have to deal with all the stakeholders, and using all of that information you get from all of them, make sure that engineers are building the right things. So you learn an awful lot there. So I learned a huge amount. One of the other things I learned is I don't like working for big companies. I don't like the politics that goes with it. I don't like the fighting for resources. I want to have a little bit more control over what we're building. Me and big companies, I've built some great connections. I've had some great experience. I've learned so much, but long term, me and big companies aren't a good match. So I wanted to take everything I've learned and then Eoin and me put together this idea, and we thought, okay, we could potentially make something here. So over the last few years, we've been slowly building towards that, and we're at the stage now where we can jump into it. So it was a case of, I learned enough working for other companies, and I thought, okay, I know enough now to give this a go myself. Yeah.
And learning about yourself as well, like, what were the challenges that you had to overcome internally, or was it a case that maybe there was another part of your life that you had to sacrifice, say, like, sacrifice the time with friends and family?
Yeah. So that's a tough one. So the sacrificing part is a tough one. The question, I've thought about this lots, but I think especially as we launched GetHouse Survey 4 years ago and started growing it part-time, I had to do a lot of work in the evenings.
Yeah.
So I'd get home from my day job, or during COVID, I'd leave my desk at my day job at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'd spend a few hours with the family, do dinner, get them down to bed, do the bedtimes routine, spend some time with my wife. Then, she might go to bed early, and then I'd be up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning doing whatever we needed to do. The babies would go down for their nap at the weekend. For those couple of hours, I'd try to jump on, do a few things during lunch breaks. I don't think I had a full lunch break for 4 years. Double down and try to get some work there as well. So you sacrifice a lot of personal time.
Yeah.
And for me, it was difficult trying to get the right balance with my family. So I have 4 kids. So it's, they're my number one priority.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that I'm giving them everything I can. But at the same time, I'm trying to get myself into a position where I can have this company that I can provide for them for the foreseeable future, hopefully for the rest of my career. And until they're adults and they start supporting me then. So it was trying to get that balance right was the toughest part.
Yeah. And do you think that's still a day-to-day occurrence, or do you think you've managed it better?
Oh God, yeah, it is. One of the nice things over the last few months though is I can be a bit more flexible with my time. So my day now looks like I drop my daughter to school for 10 to 9, my toddler to play school for 9 o'clock, and then I'm at the office for 9:05. And our office is a kilometre from my house. So, and then if I want, I can pick him up from play school, go home and have lunch at home, get back down here for a few hours and wrap up my day about 5 o'clock. And then my whole evening is there with my family. Right. And then if I do need to jump on, I still have that flexibility, but I'm not doing that every single evening.
Yeah.
So
I'd say I love the flexibility. Oh, that's like a dream come true.
Yeah. The last few months, it's the toughest part has been trying to keep myself honest with a good routine.
Yeah.
Looking after my own health, doing stuff like that. You have to look after that too. So trying to build all that and get a routine that works for me has been tough. The business is supporting us the way we need it to support us, and I have much more flexibility with the family, so it kind of ticks all the boxes. And at the same time, I'm still learning a lot. I'm learning new stuff every single day here. So it's.
And would you consider yourself a lifelong learner? And do you think that's important for entrepreneurs?
Oh God, absolutely. There isn't one day goes by where I don't read some of the book, listen to an audio book, listen to a podcast. Not just about entrepreneurship, but about maybe marketing in particular, or maybe about now that we're looking after our own business finances. So I'm trying to listen to books about finance, finance specific to businesses, and trying to learn as much as I can there. So yeah, but even while I was in product management, I go to a lot of meetups. I wrote a bunch of blogs about product management. I've spoken at a few events, and even speaking at an event, you have to really double down on what you're talking about, do a little bit more research than you might think was necessary to make. So even doing something like that, you're constantly learning. So yeah, I literally not a day goes by where I don't do some kind of action to try to consume a bit more knowledge and learn a bit more. And again, that's tough because it means, if I have this video that I think is important that I need to watch, I might give up watching television in the evenings to check that video out. So again, that's a little bit more sacrifice you have to make, but it's kind of like it's a snowball effect. You pick up a bit of knowledge here, a bit of knowledge there, a little bit more there, and that all compounds, and all of a sudden a new challenge comes up, and you just realize, oh, I know how to do this now.
You learn as you go.
And sometimes you don't know how to do it, and you have to just jump in and
that's it.
Give it your best go. But it's happening more and more where a challenge comes up and I know what to do, which is great. And that's all just because of that lifelong learning.
Yeah, that's it. And would you have any other projects on the go, or is there anything coming up that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so we just recently launched before Christmas. So we kind of done a soft launch. We're really going to double down on marketing this year, a new product called Home Hunter Report. And GetHouseSurvey comes into the house buying journey at the point where you go sale agreed. Yeah. And sale agreed is the point you do your due diligence. You hire a good quality solicitor to check out all the legal stuff is sound. You hire a surveyor to make sure that property is sound. And then if you're happy with everything, you sign contracts and you're committed to the sale. But there's a huge amount of research that happens before you go sale agreed. And what we tried to figure out is, okay, could we going to go across the value chain here and have a product that people could use earlier in the journey? So we've done a lot of research in the UK and in Australia. There's some good products that finds a lot of information about a property for you. We looked and looked and looked in Ireland, couldn't find anything. So what Home Hunter Report does, you go on, you put in the air code for the property you're thinking about buying. Maybe you've seen it on My Home or DAF. You put in the air code. We search over 15 different sources, and in 4 to 5 minutes, we build this really nice quality PDF with information about everything, all the estate agent information that was put in. We estimate the bills based on the BER rating for the estate agent gave. We give you information about the local schools in the area. Things like, is it on a floodplain? Is there a risk there that's going to affect your insurance if you proceed with this? Radon risk. Okay, if it's in a high radon area, should you get a radon test done after you move into the house? And lots of other pieces of information as well. And the idea is it's a one-stop shop that you go in, you get this report done, and that then lets you know, okay, is this the right property for me and my family? Even things like planning information. We'll pull in a snapshot of local planning so you can see, okay, there's a huge development going on here. And if you dive into it, it might be an apartment block that's going to look over your garden. So the idea is, again, it just helps buyers build confidence, knowing, okay, I've done all my research on this. I've seen all this information and I'm sure this is the right property for me, and they can proceed with confidence. And that's really what we're trying to target with this, that people can, because it's nerve-wracking buying a house.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make it less nerve-wracking. So I think when you're spending that much money, you're always going to be nervous. But we're just trying to reassure people that, look, you've done everything you can to research this property. And we're trying to figure out ways to do that. And Home Hunter Report is the next step on that.
Brilliant. So you soft launched in December, just before Christmas 2023. Where's Home Hunter Report currently at, and what way do you see it going over the next 6 to 12 months? Like, is there any goals in place that you want to hit?
Yeah, so towards the end of last year, we kind of went, if listeners kind of are working software development, they'll know about, kind of a beta launch, and a bare minimum of a product that works. You get it in front of users and you get as much feedback as you can. And that's essentially what we done before Christmas. Gave hundreds of people their free version of it that we knew were talking about properties, gathered all the feedback from them, and we spent then most of December and the early part of this year improving that product. It might just be the language we use in the description. It might be the information we're actually pulling from another source. Whatever it is, we tidied it up a bit, tidied up the design, and we're at the stage now where we are confident, okay, this is a product that we're happy to sell. So this year it's all about trying different marketing channels. For us, it's a new product in Ireland. People don't, unlike a survey, people don't know they need it. They don't know it exists. So for us, it's trying to get it in front of people and say, hey, are you looking at properties on Daft? Are you thinking about going for a viewing here? This is a perfect product for you, to give you all the information the estate agent doesn't. So it's trying to find the right channels there. So we have some Irish property influencers lined up to do promotions for us. We're trying to figure out the best way to do Google Ads. We've got a nice company lined up to help us out with that. We're looking at other marketing channels as well, because it's a tough one, bringing a brand new product that people don't know exists to the market.
Yeah, and let alone it's the awareness piece, because no one knows about it. So you have to generate awareness, and you have to educate them to some degree, so there's a lot there. Yeah,
that's it. And the nice thing is the feedback we've got from it, because we're not under pressure to launch this, we've been able to really take it on board and reinvest that feedback back into the product, which means that now what we're going to market with it, we're pretty confident that people will love us. So it's definitely a new challenge, but we think once people see this and once word of mouth starts to spread about it, and even if all you need is a few people with a lot of followers just to talk about it and use it for their own property and say, oh wow, I found this great product. And that's what we're going to be trying to do, just get into as many places as we can, so we get people talking about it and seeing how good quality the product is. And once that happens, we're pretty sure that the whole snowball effect will kick off there. Now, we have a lot of work to do. It's not just going to happen itself, but we've done our research, we're up for the challenge, and that's one of the things we're really looking forward to this year.
Fantastic. So if anyone listening or watching wants to get in touch with you or your businesses, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, well, you can get me on LinkedIn. Just only another couple of Noel Tates in Ireland. None of them work in tech or in the housing industry. So you look up Noel Tate on LinkedIn. You can email Noel at GetHouseSurvey.ie. We're still small enough that I can reply to most emails. Now, we have somebody who does emails for the more kind of straightforward queries, but anything more complex, I'm always able to jump in and help out. And yeah, if anybody's looking for any advice at all about buying a house and doing their research into making sure it's the right house, or any questions related to surveying, we're always happy to help, whether or not they go with us, which is something we've been doing a lot of, and we're in a few online groups. So always happy to hear from people and help where we can. And because we have this huge panel of surveyors, I don't know the answer, I haven't come across it before. I can get in touch with one of the guys and they'll make sure we're getting the right information.
Fantastic. Well, once again, Noel, thanks very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing your business grow.
Yeah, thanks very much, Curtis. Pleasure.
Boom.